Most people rarely admit it, but there are moments when you feel separate from the world, as if you're watching life through a quiet window. It isn't about being shy or unfriendly. It runs deeper. You notice things too much, sense shifts in tone, patterns in silence, meanings between words. You think connection should feel real, but often it feels rehearsed. You hold yourself back, not because you don't care, but because you don't know how to exist halfway. Psychology calls it heightened awareness, a mind that feels too much in a world that values noise. You call it being yourself. It's not loneliness you fear, it's falseness. And so you move through people carefully, quietly, like someone protecting something fragile. Stay until the end of this video. You'll see that the way you think, the way you feel, the way you stand alone might not be a flaw at all, but a sign of depth. 1. Hyper-awareness, the mind that overthinks connection. You notice everything, the way someone shifts their posture, the pause before they answer, the faint change in tone when the truth hides behind politeness. While others speak to connect, you analyze. Your mind stays 2 steps ahead, mapping reactions, scanning for mistakes, replaying what was said and how it sounded. Psychology calls this metacognition, the awareness of your own thoughts while they happen. It makes you perceptive but restless. You sense tension others ignore, and that tension becomes yours to hold. You want to be present, yet your brain keeps dissecting presence itself. You long to relax into conversation, but your awareness turns softness into study. You appear distant, yet what you feel is pressure, the weight of watching yourself too closely. It is not that you dislike people. You simply cannot stop measuring your place in the moment. Awareness becomes armor, but also isolation. 2. Authenticity, sensitivity, the allergy to pretending. You can feel when someone is faking interest. You hear laughter that does not reach the eyes. You sense words meant to please, not to mean. To you, false energy is loud. It grates against your nervous system. Psychology calls it high emotional granularity, the ability to detect emotional shifts that others miss. It sounds like empathy, but it hurts more than it helps. You crave sincerity, not performance. Yet most social spaces run on the currency of small lies. You stop playing along and people call you cold. You stay quiet and they think you are proud. The truth is, you see through the play and cannot pretend to enjoy it. You would rather stay silent than act. That honesty isolates you, not because it is wrong, but because it makes others uncomfortable. You are not rejecting people. You are rejecting the mask they wear to survive, and it costs you belonging. 3. Emotional self-sufficiency, the fortress within. You learned early that relying on others meant disappointment, so you built a quiet system of survival inside yourself. You regulate, you repair, you endure. When life hurts, you disappear inward and fix what broke before anyone notices. In psychology, this is emotional self-reliance. It sounds noble, it feels safe, but it can slowly turn connection into theory. People bond through need, not perfection. When you never ask for help, they lose the chance to matter. When you never reveal pain, they stop reaching out. They assume you prefer distance when all you wanted was peace. You believe strength protects you, yet it also builds walls no one knows how to climb. It is not weakness to need others, it is humanity. But after years of silence, even your voice forgets how to say help. Solitude becomes comfort, and comfort becomes cage. You survive beautifully, but you do it alone. 4. Individualistic cognition, the mind that questions everything. You think differently. When everyone agrees, you pause. When the crowd cheers, you listen for the echo. Psychology calls this low social conformity. You are not rebellious. You are wired for independent thought. You want to understand before you join. But groups rarely reward reflection. They reward likeness. When you question the joke everyone laughs at, the air shifts. When you challenge assumptions, people feel exposed. They respect you quietly, yet they keep a distance. Your clarity feels sharp against their comfort. You would rather stand alone in truth than sit safely in imitation. But that honesty costs you company. You do not reject the group. You simply cannot lose yourself to keep it. Individualism gives you freedom, but it also breeds solitude. And when you look around, you realize that wisdom often whispers in empty rooms. You accept that being understood and being right rarely arrive together. 5. Emotional latency, the delay between feeling and expression. You feel deeply but respond slowly. Emotion moves through you like light through fog. It takes time to find shape. You care more than you can show. You love quietly, think before you speak, and often miss the window to say what you mean. Psychologists call this alexithymia, a mild difficulty in translating emotion into words. It does not mean you are cold. It means your inner world moves at a slower rhythm. You notice your heart but struggle to reveal it. When someone needs comfort, you plan the right thing to say, but the moment has already passed. You remember later when silence feels safer than correction. People misread this pause as disinterest. They do not see that you are still feeling when they have already moved on. You are fluent in thought, not expression. You love in action, not in speech. Yet connection often needs both, and you are still learning how. 6. Interlude, the invisible cost of being rare. You do not lose people all at once. You lose them slowly through the quiet gaps between what you feel and what you show. A message unanswered, a gathering skipped, a reaction delayed. Each small silence adds to the distance until it becomes a wall. You are not avoiding anyone. You are just tired of translation. The social world runs fast, fueled by noise and validation. You crave stillness, and in that craving you drift. Solitude becomes a sanctuary, then a habit. You stop expecting to be understood, only observed. Yet underneath the calm, there is a small ache. You miss the ease of belonging, but not the effort of pretending. The cost of being rare is not loneliness itself, but how easily people assume you chose it. You did not choose solitude. You grew into it because the world rarely offers space for minds like yours to rest. You were never too much or too distant. You were simply tuned to a quieter frequency, one that values truth more than approval. The way you think, the way you feel, the way you stand apart, all speak of depth, not defect. You have learned to live without noise, to find comfort in stillness, to keep your world honest. That is not isolation, it is integrity. The people who can meet you there will come in time. Until then, let the silence remind you of how far you have grown. You are not hard to love, only hard to fake with. If this spoke to you, let your presence be known. Like the video, subscribe, and stay close. Not for noise, but for understanding. Because here your quiet is not something to fix, it is something to honor.